Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 4 of December 2025.
Foxconn's new iPhone unit near Bengaluru has rapidly hired 30,000 staff, mostly young women, in under a year, marking India's fastest factory ramp-up. This massive facility, set to become the country's largest, underscores Apple's supply chain diversification and commitment to India, with over 80% of production exported. The facility, spread over 300 acres, is primarily run by women, accounting for around 80% of the headcount, with most in their first jobs in the age group of 19 to 24. The facility is expected to house more women workers in a single location than any government or private entity in India. Non-banking financial companies like Tata Capital, JM Financial Credit Solutions, Aditya Birla Capital, and Hero FinCorp have collectively invested around 1,300 crore rupees in Vodafone Idea's recent bond sale. This demonstrates a growing appetite among NBFCs and mutual funds for higher yields, even as banks face exposure limits. The funds will support Vodafone Idea's capital expenditure and business growth plans. Samsung Biologics is acquiring its first U.S. drug production facility from GSK for $280 million to meet long-term U.S. market demand. The South Korean contract drug manufacturer plans to expand the Maryland site's capacity and upgrade its technology. The deal is expected to close around the end of the first quarter of 2026. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing India's online astrology sector. Some platforms use AI for initial customer interactions and to assist human astrologers. Others, like AstroSage, have fully embraced AI astrologers, handling thousands of clients simultaneously. This technological shift is boosting efficiency and revenue, though some still prioritize human connection for deeper understanding. Fortis Healthcare has inked a pact to acquire Bengaluru-based People Tree Hospital for 430 crore rupees. The acquisition comes amid a broader surge in investment activity in India's healthcare sector between 2022 and 2024, during which mergers, acquisitions and private equity deals crossed $30 billion. In 2024 alone, hospital investments touched approximately $6 billion, marking a 24% year-on-year increase. The year also saw the largest healthcare transaction to date, with a $5 billion merger between Aster DM Healthcare and Quality Care India in 2024, underscoring a growing trend of consolidation as hospital chains seek scale, operational efficiencies and stronger regional dominance. Experts see coal share in electricity generation in India falling to 30 to 35% by 2047. The coal's share in India's electricity mix is currently at 70%. India achieved over 1 billion tons of coal production in FY25, with coal-based power contributing 72% to total electricity generation. Developing countries such as India, Africa, China, Russia, and Southeast Asia cannot afford renewable energy at scale, as it is much more expensive and less reliable. Nuclear energy is reliable, but it is also very expensive. 73% of India's power generation comes from coal. Ambuja Cements Board approved merger schemes to combine ACC and Orient Cement into Ambuja through share swaps, with no cash payout. ACC shareholders will get 328 Ambuja shares for every 100 ACC shares, while Orient shareholders receive 33 Ambuja shares per 100 Orient shares. The swap values ACC near its current market price and offers Orient a roughly 9% premium. Quick commerce is racing ahead, but it's facing a bumpy road as profit margins begin to shrink. With consumer goods firms pouring more resources into advertising on these swift platforms, they're finding that their earnings are akin to those of traditional retailers. New Zealand will invest $20 billion in India over the next 15 years. This commitment is part of a new free trade agreement between the two nations. The pact aims to boost manufacturing, infrastructure, and services in India. This significant foreign direct investment is expected to create jobs and support India's growth vision. Paytm is expanding its international footprint, approving new overseas subsidiaries in Indonesia and Luxembourg while bringing in a strategic investor for its payments business in the United Arab Emirates. The proposed subsidiaries will focus on distributing Paytm's technology-led payments and financial services offerings through a mix of local licenses, partnerships, investments and organic expansion. Each unit will receive an initial investment of up to 25 crore rupees in one or more tranches. ArcelorMittal on Monday said it will invest about $900 million to develop 3 renewable energy projects in India with a combined capacity of 1 gigawatt (GW) as the steelmaker steps up efforts to secure clean power for its domestic operations. Once completed, the projects will double ArcelorMittal's renewable energy capacity in India to 2 gigawatts and raise its global renewable portfolio to 3.3 gigawatts. Tata Electronics on Monday announced a strategic partnership with Japanese semiconductor and electronics manufacturer ROHM to assemble and test automotive chips for both Indian and global markets. Under the partnership, the companies will first establish a manufacturing framework for power semiconductors in India. Tata is already building the country's first semiconductor fab in Dholera, Gujarat in partnership with PSMC, Taiwan. The other Tata facility coming up in Assam will be an assembly and testing plant. As shopping malls across the US shut stores and struggle with rising vacancies, Indian retail real estate is heading into 2026 on a very different footing. Capital that once chased new developments is increasingly focusing on older shopping centers that had lost relevance but sit on valuable urban land. This renewed interest is tied to how India's retail and housing markets behaved through 2025, based on data from property consultancies and sector reports. Samsung is ramping up its operations in India, strategically applying for incentives on component production and pursuing an extension of its smartphone manufacturing initiative. Open to local chip sourcing, Samsung's commitment is aimed at establishing India as a tech and manufacturing powerhouse. Global trading firm Jane Street is under intense regulatory scrutiny. India's SEBI is investigating alleged market manipulation, seeking millions in penalties. Simultaneously, Jane Street has begun lobbying in Washington, a significant shift after years of low profile. The firm denies wrongdoing in India and continues to post record profits, expanding its trading operations elsewhere. Despite some major e-commerce giants stepping out, the refurbished smartphone industry in India is gearing up for an impressive year, predicting double-digit growth. The festive season breathed new life into the market, creating a ripple effect as companies venture into laptops and additional electronics. More than 1.5 million taxpayers have revised their income tax returns for the current assessment year. This voluntary compliance initiative has led to over 2.1 million updated returns for previous years. Additional tax collections have exceeded 2,500 crore rupees. The Income Tax Department used data analytics to identify ineligible claims for deductions and exemptions. India's top consulting firms, including EY, Deloitte, PwC, and KPMG, are fiercely competing with tech giants like Accenture and Capgemini, alongside Indian IT players. This intense rivalry stems from a surge in companies adopting AI across their operations, propelling technology consulting revenue for the Big Four to an estimated $2.5 billion in India by FY26. Bajaj Auto's domestic motorcycle business has come under sustained pressure in recent years, with the company steadily ceding market share in its core segments as rivals Hero MotoCorp Limited. Hero MotoCorp Limited and TVS Motor Company Limited. Motor Company strengthen their positions in the increasingly competitive two-wheeler market. Tata Motors is stepping up investments and expanding its electric vehicle portfolio as it looks to retain a dominant 45 to 50% share of the EV passenger vehicle market over the rest of the decade. The automaker on Tuesday said it will invest Rs 16,000 to 18,000 crore in its EV business by FY30 and roll out 5 new electric models by the end of the decade, including premium offerings under the Avinya brand. HCL Software, a subsidiary of HCL Tech, has announced the acquisition of Jaspersoft from Cloud Software Group in an all-cash deal valued at $240 million, around Rs 100 crore, to strengthen its data and artificial intelligence software portfolio and expand its embedded analytics capabilities. India's aviation sector, poised for growth, faced significant operational strains and safety concerns in 2025. A deadly crash, widespread flight cancellations due to new pilot rules, and GPS spoofing incidents tested the industry. Despite robust passenger demand and infrastructure expansion, profitability remained elusive, highlighting the need for improved safety oversight and resilience. India Inc. is increasingly diversifying its funding by tapping equity markets and corporate bonds, reducing reliance on traditional bank loans. This shift reflects a structural move towards market-based financing amid a rate-easing cycle. Overall credit to the commercial sector rose 13.2% to Rs 290.38 lakh crore, with non-bank sources surging 17%. India's aviation sector is bracing for new competition. Two airlines, Hind Air and Fly Express, have received government approval. Shankar, already cleared, plans to launch operations next year. This move aims to break the market's duopoly, currently dominated by Indigo and the Air India Group. FirstCry parent, Brainbees Solutions, said its subsidiary Swara Baby Products will acquire Car Enterprises, a hygiene products manufacturer that reported Rs 84.01 crore revenue in FY25. The Rs 57.74 crore share swap deal will give Swara Baby full ownership of the business. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, has issued a clarification in response to a media report which incorrectly suggested that certain changes to the short-selling framework would become applicable from December 22, 2025. There is no change whatsoever in the existing regulatory framework governing short selling in the Indian securities market. Consequently, the question of any modification or revised framework taking effect from December 22, 2025 does not arise. The regulator has clarified that the media report was factually incorrect. Organizations across various sectors are grappling with overwhelming document volumes and limited processing time. Intelligent Document Processing, or IDP, is emerging as a crucial automation layer, leveraging AI to transform messy documents into machine-readable data. This technology is poised for significant growth, with the UK leading adoption and India's software industry capitalizing on its data engineering expertise. India led global IPOs in November with 22 listings. The nation secured second place for funds raised, collecting $3.7 billion. Asian markets were strong, contributing over $12 billion to the global total. Indian IPOs showed robust performance, with many mainboard and SME issues listing at a premium. Financial services led fundraising in mainboard IPOs. Precious and industrial metals are surging to record highs as the year ends, driven by economic and geopolitical uncertainty, robust industrial demand and, in some cases, tight supply. Industrial demand has surged in recent months, driven by the rise of artificial intelligence and the energy transition. India's winter is experiencing unprecedented momentum, driven by a surge in destination weddings and increased tourism. This trend, amplified by government initiatives promoting winter travel and domestic celebrations, is significantly boosting sectors like aviation, hospitality, and retail, marking winter as a key economic growth period. India's economy is set for strong growth through 2026. Monetary and fiscal measures are boosting domestic demand. These actions are expected to offset global economic slowdowns. Inflation is projected to remain below the Reserve Bank of India's target. Economic activity is anticipated to become more widespread. This outlook suggests a positive economic trajectory for India. Despite a 14% dip in housing sales across India's top 7 cities in 2025, the overall sales value jumped 6% to over Rs 6 lakh crore. While sales volume stabilized, new launches increased slightly, with a significant portion in the luxury segment. Price appreciation tapered to single digits, except for NCR's 23% rise. India's exports are set to reach $850 billion in 2025-26. This growth faces headwinds from rising protectionism and weakening global demand. New climate-linked trade barriers, like the EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism, will also impact trade. The government is urged to review free trade agreements to boost exports and integrate Indian firms into global value chains. AI inference startup Grok has signed a licensing agreement with NVIDIA, the GPU, graphics processing units, designer and manufacturing giant, for its inference technology, the former announced on Wednesday, December 24. The deal, non-exclusive in nature, is aimed at expanding access to high-performance, low-cost AI inference at a global scale. India is stepping up its semiconductor push, with Amit Shah saying the country will soon start exporting chips as forex reserves cross $700 billion and major fab projects take shape under the India Semiconductor Mission. The Home Minister's announcement comes at an important time as the global giants have staged efforts to strengthen their standing in the semiconductor and AI space, which has led to the creation of larger tech infrastructure across countries such as Singapore and the United States of America. Taiwanese contract manufacturing giant Foxconn's chairman Young Liu is current chairman of TEMA and is spearheading the initiative that aims to establish such hubs in the US, Uttar Pradesh, India, Mexico and Poland in the first phase. The association is said to be in talks with several other Indian states as well. The 2025 IPO season is nothing short of a phenomenon, propelled by Indian retail investors who have collectively committed around Rs 42,000 crore to mainboard IPOs, marking a stunning threefold increase since 2023. The trend also extends into mutual funds, energized by a wave of SIP investments, signaling a robust engagement from retail participants in the equity arena. Indian IT services provider Coforge, formerly NIIT Technologies, is planning to build its AI muscle by acquiring US-based Encora in a multi-billion-dollar deal. The deal ascribes an enterprise value of $2.3 billion to Encora. Following the deal, Encora shareholders will hold a 20% stake in Coforge. With this deal, Coforge joins its peers who are opting for inorganic boost to their AI operations. Tata Consultancy Services said it will acquire Salesforce AI consulting firm, Coastal Cloud, for $700 million in cash. HCL Tech is set to acquire Jaspersoft for $240 million and agentic AI firm Wabi for another $5.3 million. Titan Co., the country's leading jewelry maker, on Friday announced its entry into the lab-grown diamond segment under the brand name of Bain. Focusing on the emerging segment of affordable lab-grown diamonds in the country, the company will open a store in Mumbai on December 29, according to a regulatory filing from a Tata Group-managed firm. This move aligns with a significant industry shift where prominent jewelry brands like Senco Gold with Sens and Tata with Poem, among others, are gradually moving away from their exclusive natural or mined diamond offerings in favor of lab-grown alternatives. Quick commerce firm Zepto has filed draft papers with SEBI for a $1.3 billion IPO, people in the know told us. The Audit Palacher-led company plans to raise most funds through fresh shares, with some stake sales by early investors. The Bengaluru-based firm, valued at $7 billion, aims to list in July to September quarter of 2026. India's dairy sector faces tighter supply and margin recalibration after navigating disruptions. Following a surplus in late 2024, early rains and geopolitical issues tightened supplies, leading to increased procurement costs. Companies are now considering price hikes or volume adjustments to restore profitability amidst a growing shift to value-added products.
This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.